Hey guys, and welcome back to another rendition of What You Should Be Watching with me, Brad Fitzpatrick, and my hetero life mate, Zach Washburn. Say hi, Zach.
Hi, Zach.
Today's going to be a very interesting episode because we're going to be doing fantasy movies. Some movies that are very dear to both of us. Hopefully you haven't seen some of these, but you've probably seen them all because they're great.
Yes.
As you can tell, I am feeling better. From our last video, I did not die.
Yay!
Yeah, it was touch and go. It was touch and go. Yeah, it was pretty bad. But how was your week, Zach?
It was good. Yeah, it was really good. Work sucked, but always love the weekends. Get to do these videos, man.
There you go. And I mean, it's been awfully cold.
Very cold. Yes.
It's almost as much as my ex's heart. If you're watching this, yes, I said that.
Now, also, I know that we knew we were going to do fantasies all week, so I've been thinking. And then you brought up an interesting question when we talked last about what makes a fantasy. I think that's something we need to talk about a little bit before we get into our list, if you'd like.
Sure, yeah, please.
Because I think people might consider fantasy different in everyone's heads. Like, I was talking to Monica, and she asked me what my criteria was for a fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I mentioned you it. I believe that fantasy needs to be, it has to involve magic of some kind. I think that you have to have some kind of mythical creatures in it. Mm-hmm. And it needs to have like a make-believe land.
Okay.
Those are my three criterias for.
So what if it's like lots of sword play, no magic?
I don't know. I would think in mine. I think all my fantasies have a magical aspect to it.
Magical aspect. I mean, yeah. That's.
And she actually mentioned, well, what about Star Wars? She said it had magic, and I said, well, they don't really consider the Force magic.
Nope.
And those also aren't mythical creatures; they're alien life forms.
Yeah.
And those are actually supposed to be real planets that are in space. Mm-hmm. We just haven't discovered them yet. So I believe that science fiction is a totally different category than fantasy. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, you can have sci-fi fantasy, as they put it, but what we're going to be focusing on today is strictly fantasy, which I think you have a good idea. Though one of mine doesn't have magic, but lots of medieval swordplay.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
so
fine. That's why I said our list. That's what I wanted to tell the viewers too. Our list might be a little different, and their list, might be different on what they consider to be fantasy. So.
Right. So I mean, it's very good to point that out specifically because I mean, we're going to run out of ideas if we don't narrow it down.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's good for us to narrow it down because then it's extremely hard to do our list.
Yeah, I know. But all right, what is your number 5 fantasy?
Oh, I wanted to tell everyone too. I've got my some movie memorabilia.
Uh-oh.
I have Orin around my neck.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. And the Elder Wand.
There you go. Yeah. See, had you told me you were going to have like props, I would have brought my huge prop.
Yeah, but I don't want you to outdo me, so I'd like to tell you what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You're right. That's not fair. Do you want to pause the video, Brad, and go get your prop?
No, don't worry about it. It's just a giant sword.
I actually have a sword too.
Okay, it's just a sword. Yeah, I mean, if you're a guy and you don't have a sword, are you really guying right?
You're not. Yeah, you need to turn in a man card.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But please, Zach, show me your sword.
Right here.
Yeah, right here.
What is the sword that you have? Is it from anything?
No, it's just it's cool. It's got a skull on it.
That's awesome. Yeah. I believe all swords should have some kind of skull on them.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, number 5 on my list is a mini-series that came out the early 2000s called The 10th Kingdom.
Nice, yes. Yes.
This was just a great great story. I'd never read the book. I know it's based off some
Mm-hmm.
books. Big surprise that I never read them.
Yeah.
Uh, but just great fantasy. Um, Pretty much, it's kind of the quintessential fantasy. It has everything I've discussed. If anyone hasn't heard of it, it's about, like I said, a fantasy realm with the 9 kingdoms, and each of these kingdoms is ruled by a famous fantasy character like Cinderella, Snow
Yep.
White, and they've all had wars and they fight, and all the great fantasy characters that we grew up with in fairy tales live in these worlds, and people from Earth get sucked into the realms and have to go on quests and stuff. Just a really great show, and I'm glad they made it into a miniseries because they were able to get everything into it. I think it was on for like a month.
Yeah.
Like 5 big episodes or something. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
really good.
Such a good miniseries. Like
Yeah.
it had to be done that way.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think you could have done it, in any other way. And they're like almost an hour and a half, a piece, aren't they? Each part.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was pretty long, and it's well worth the money if you want to go out and buy it. Like I say, you get it on DVD. I don't know if they have it on Blu-ray, but I had to add it to my collection. It's awesome.
It's a good choice. Good choice. 10th Kingdom, great miniseries. All right, number 4. What's your number 4?
Number 4 is I guess if I go right into this, I feel like I should explain it, but this is the I want to add this to the entire series. I just picked out one, the original,
Okay.
Lord of the Rings.
All right.
So I want to add all the Lord of the Rings and all the Hobbits into this.
Ah, okay.
I feel like they're all together.
They're all connected. Same universe. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will say that it was a toss-up between Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. Harry Potter did not make my list. I just feel more. I don't know. If I had to pick between Lord of the Rings, it's like Star Trek and Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
It's like if you had to pick, I feel Lord of the Rings is more adult, more darker. So that would be my go-to for a fantasy franchise.
Yeah. And I still say, no Tom Bombadil really makes me sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But of course, I have all the extended cuts myself.
I do too.
You know.
I just pulled this one out because it's it has nice artwork on the front.
Yeah. And it's the original.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're telling me you have both the original non-extended cut and the extended cuts?
I have the original non-extended cut because I know we've talked before about riff tracks.
Yes.
They only riffed the original theatrical version.
Ah.
So I could buy the riff tracks because the riff tracks in Lord of the Rings are great. If you
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Understandable. The lengths that we go to for great entertainment.
Right.
All right. Number 3.
Number three. These last 3 are going to be going to my childhood.
There you go.
Which are great. Number 3, grew up watching it. Never Ending Story.
Oh, yep.
Got to have it on your list.
What was her name at the end?
I have no idea. I've looked it up. I know it's some weird name.
Yeah.
I know that even if you put it on closed captioning, it still does not.
Nope, it doesn't.
Do you know?
No.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And talk about like some scenes that were just probably not for children, but they were,
Right.
like so intense and like heart-wrenching almost, like Artax. Oh, that still makes me cry.
Yeah. I mean, it will make any child cry. The best friend is forced dying.
Yeah.
In a very horrible way,
And then
wolf,
that
wolf was very scary.
so good. And then the Rock Eater.
Yeah. Yeah, great characters, like I said. Those mythical creatures. Great.
I loved it. Yeah, you saw the sequel though, right?
I liked the sequel.
So did I.
The third one was crap, but I did like
Yeah, the second one was really good.
Chapter 2 or whatever they called it.
Yeah. First one is still the best, but the first one, like, man, like it like holds you. Like even at a very young age, it really kind of like it sets its paces really well.
Absolutely.
And even at the end when he gets Falcor, in modern day and he's like chasing after the bullies and shit. You're like, "Oh, I want to be that kid." I wish I could do that to my bullies.
I know. I think a lot of kids relate to that.
All right. But it's like, no, I gotta, contemplate something else. There's my dark humor.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. So great pick for number 3. I honestly wasn't even thinking of putting that in there, but I mean, you're right. It does have some magic in it, so I'll grant you that. What's your number 2?
Number 2 is The Labyrinth.
Oh, see, yeah, I was gonna put that one in mine too.
Nope, can't now.
Yep, now I can't. Now I can't.
I think it's them off the cuff.
Yep, David Bowie.
Yeah, this movie is just great. Like you always say, the practical effects.
Yes.
The goblins. It's just Brian Froud did all the he made them all.
Yes.
With his art direction and just this great mythical looking, creatures that he made.
Mm-hmm.
Was really great, and just the story is so simple, but it's just great. This girl trying to get through this labyrinth that has all these strange things in it. Trying to get to save her brother. I mean, what a great story.
And honestly, the characterization and the character growth in that movie is probably one of the best, I believe, in that time frame.
Yeah.
Not only for her, but for every single character that she comes across.
Right.
Even the Goblin King himself has that huge character growth in the end. And rest in peace, David Bowie, but they were even in talks of making a sequel.
Well, they still are, aren't they? I believe that. I thought you had mentioned that before, that they're going to continue with a sequel or a TV show.
No, not for Labyrinth.
Well, I know the Dark Crystal too.
Yes.
But
Dark Crystal, yes, but Labyrinth.
They were going to do something with Labyrinth.
The last thing I heard was before he had passed, and
Okay.
nothing else has surfaced since then.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, with how iconic David Bowie is.
Oh, sure.
It's kind of, it's kind of understandable.
I know it'd be hard to do it without him. But
Yeah, because he really was 80% of that movie.
yeah.
So fantastic at the time.
Soundtrack, the songs he wrote were great.
Right.
Yeah. I know people thought it was kind of campy at first, but it's that him and that music has really become a part of the following that it has. I mean, and without it now, it would not be Labyrinth.
Yeah, you're right. It was almost like a musical in a way, but every even some of the puppets really kind of the goblins in it.
Yeah.
So well done. Oh, good choice. Good choice for
Thank
number 2. I really appreciate that. Number 1 though, if it's got to be better than that, you gotta pull it out.
It is for me.
Okay.
This is the quintessential fantasy movie. It's got everything I said. From the first time I ever watched it, I fell in love with it. Willow.
Ah, see, no, come on, man.
This is why you don't let me go first all the
Ah.
time. I'm telling you, I'm going to steal all your good stuff.
No, it's good. It was probably going to be. It was literally going to be my number 1 too.
Yeah, it's great. You just can't get better than Willow as far as a fantasy movie. And I'm just so excited. I know you had to be negative on my Facebook post I shared with you earlier, but they are talking. Ron Howard has.
I was not being negative. I was being realistic.
Whatever. That's the same line I always give too when someone says I'm negative.
Right, Mr. Idol.
But anyone who doesn't know, hasn't seen this, Ron Howard in a recent tweet to somebody said that he is in hopes to maybe revisit the world of Willow and do a sequel. So that would be awesome. Not even on the drawing board yet, but it would be really cool. I'm not sure how they would do it. He said in the tweet that it would center around Laura Dannon when she's all grown up.
Right. Yeah. Because Warwick Davis is old, and he can still play.
But he could still do Willow.
Still do Willow. Yeah.
He could be the High Aldwin.
Yeah, he can. I mean, literally,
High Nelwyn in the village now. So. Yeah. One thing about Willow, I mentioned magic. Willow has the best use of magic that I've ever seen, and I have yet to see something that has the best, especially the the magic fight at the end with
Oh,
Bathilda and
yeah.
Giselle was just awesome. I
Yep.
love I love battles like that between two powerhouses. Like um, Harry Potter came close in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix,
Yeah,
the very last one.
yep, that's exactly what I was
Voldemort
about
and
to say.
Dumbledore
Oh,
fight.
yeah, that was, ugh.
Yeah, um, that was a great duel too. Those wizard duels,
Hmm.
that's what makes a really good fantasy for me is those wizards fight between good and evil at the last.
Oh, yeah. But, man, it's like such iconic, you know, like everything in Willow, in my opinion. Like, it's quotable. It has, like, actors that are still around today that are so fantastic in what they were back then.
Oh yeah,
It's got, like, the scenery in it is great. The story is compelling. Like, I don't... It's one of those, like, almost perfect movies, and it's set in the 80s.
oh definitely.
You
Oh,
know?
I would definitely make that a perfect movie for me. It would be a 5 star.
Yeah. I would agree with that, too. It's one of my favorites, you know. And those of you guys that watch my channel, you know often, but, you know, don't know me personally. My daughter is named Willow. You know,
Yes.
don't tell anyone that that's actually one of the main reasons why she's named that. You know, two things. That and Willow from Buffy is what she's named after.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's a very good choice for number one. Very
Thank you.
good
Glad you liked
choice.
it.
Yeah, you know, just kind of hurts me because, you know, it was literally going to be my number one.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It just goes to show when you think of fantasy, how can you not think of Willow?
You've got you.
You know, like I don't think there's, you know, it's hard not to. So now I got to come up with something else.
You can pick Willow. Nobody cares.
No. I've got others.
Okay.
You know, but I'm glad I didn't make a list.
Like I told you to do.
Yeah, like you told me to do, but work
Yeah.
got me a little bit too hard on me. Okay, so let's see. My number 5, Excalibur.
Great movie.
Yes, old school Excalibur. Not so much because the movie is great, even though it is great, but the
Yeah.
main reason why it brings back to me is I remember watching that movie with my dad, and I've talked to this a lot of times, you know, about like me and my dad's like memories growing up watching movies together, like, and those are things that I do with my kids too, and what you do with your kids.
Take it out.
Yep, that's right. That's right. You know, and the memories hold really like lots of ourselves together.
Yeah.
You know, and Excalibur is one of those things. Like I will always watch it when it's on. You know, it's fantastic.
It's a really great rendition of that old story.
Oh yes, You know, and it's got a good story, and it really kind of follows a different track than like the other King Arthur, you know, movies and stuff like that, or shows. Like, I would say it's better than the newest King Arthur that just came out.
I know. It did not do very good at all, and I was hoping it would be better with Patrick Stewart in it. I guess even he couldn't save it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, you know,
What are you gonna do?
yeah, pretty much. But that's my number 5. It's, you know, if you haven't seen it, it is relatively old.
Oh yeah.
I think it's even older than I am. Right? Like, I think it was made in like the, you know, late 70s.
No, it's early '80s, isn't it?
I don't know. I mean, I'll look it up. Let me look it up. That's the greatest thing about having a cell phone handy. You know, I could just, you know, switch over and.
We have information at the tip of our fingers.
Yep. Caliper movie. I just spelled that awfully. Well, okay, I guess you're right. 1987. So I was 5 years old.
Okay. So it was later than I thought, actually.
Yep. Oh wow! Now looking back, I didn't realize how many like actual good actors were in it.
Oh yeah.
Wow. It's like Liam Neeson, Helen Mirren, Patrick Stewart,
Right.
Gabriel Byrne, Nigel Terry. Like, geez, the things we watch when we're younger really kind of stick with you, and you don't really realize.
Yeah.
Great movie. All right, my number 4. Now I personally I'm a little bit different than Zach. I like cartoons a lot too. So in this regard, my number 4 is Last of the Unicorns.
Great. Old classic animation. It's good.
It like one of the better like old school animations back then.
Yeah.
It's still popular to this day. Like it's such a great movie. I've shared it with my kids. I've shared it with other people who aren't my kids because they deserve to see it too. And it's the music in it and the story in it. And like the whole thing basically boils down to you need to be who you are. Don't let other people bully you into being something else to get rid of who you are. Be the unicorn that you're meant to be.
Right. And stay away from the big scary red fireball.
Yeah, I mean that works too, yeah. Always find yourself a Schmendrick too.
Right.
Schmendrick the Magician.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Such a great movie though. Last of the Unicorn, if you haven't seen it, it's out on Blu-ray. Purchase it. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
And in that same regard, we go on to number 3, Flight of Dragons.
You had mentioned this. I'd never seen it. Yeah.
Yes. Flight of Dragons. It is same basic animation style, same folk type music in it, but the story is so good. So good. And I hadn't seen it in years. Like, I'm saying like maybe decades since the last time I personally seen it. And one of I actually got it as a birthday present from somebody that really, really, really dear to me. Like it came out of the blue. Like I had just told her one day, hey, this is a movie from my childhood. I really wish I could see it. And she went out and bought it and sent it to me as a surprise.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like it was probably like the best gift I've ever gotten in my entire life.
Aw.
Just because of the fact of I wasn't like hoping for it. I wasn't asking for it. I wasn't doing anything. It was like a 3-minute conversation one day of, yeah, this movie like basically made my childhood. It was fantastic, and I just never saw it again. And there, lo and behold, boom.
Oh, nice.
I was like, oh God.
Friendship too strong.
Yeah. It hurts. Why?
I hope that you're still friends with this person.
Oh, I love her dearly.
Good.
But okay, so that was number 3. Number 2, and here's where it kind of gets a little hard. It really does.
Yeah.
Because I mean, 2 and 1, Willow was going to be number 1.
Willow and what? Labyrinth, right? What were you going to pick?
Nope.
Never
Number 2, Legend.
Yes, that was going to be an honorable mention. Mine. Yes, definitely.
Yes. Legend. Tim Curry.
Amazing.
Tim Curry. Oh my God. He has basically been the devil in my mind. Ever since. Like everybody else is like, oh, this tweening weird devil. No. Tim Curry is just... It's hard to, like, really. What's the old saying? You can tell a man's personality by where he knows Tim Curry from?
Yeah, that's great. I don't think I've ever heard that.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just so happens I know every single Tim Curry movie.
So do I. What a great actor. Very underrated actor.
Underrated? That man's almost a god in the acting field before he had his stroke.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, he is to people who actually know and appreciate his art, but you very rarely will hear Tim Curry talked about and where he needs to be talked about. I mean, when have you seen Tim Curry at the Academy Awards or
screw those guys. Screw those guys.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Like honestly, I would love to see Tim Curry get a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Have he not already got one? If he has not already got one, he needs to. Fast.
I don't think so. Like, honestly, like, I mean, really, like, look at all the roles that he has done.
All the voice acting, too. And
all the voice acting.
I think he has been probably he's got to be in every animated show I've ever seen, at least one time.
At least one time, yeah.
Yeah, usually a villain.
Hmm. And he sings.
Yes, he's a great singer.
Oh,
Fern Gully, and of course, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
yeah.
Yeah, great singer.
But speaking of practical effects, Legends practical effects, such mind-boggling. The goblins in it,
Yeah, they were
the
great.
the darkness,
Very dark. Yeah,
very
which
dark.
which you and I, of course, love. But
Yeah,
you really need to know how your kids think before you let them watch that movie, because
yeah,
it is not your basic fairy tale movie. I mean, there's some dark stuff. Them killing the unicorn.
yep.
Yeah,
Once you touch the unicorn, it's changed forever.
exactly.
It
Where he
loses
does
its
Jack.
magic. Yep. It wasn't Jack. It was the princess.
Yeah, but
Jack was trying to
let
stop her. Well, I mean, yeah, he let her, but
slapped her around a little bit.
he loved her.
Well, exactly. That's why you shouldn't have let her do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to hurt the ones you love,
I mean,
especially if they're gonna, bring darkness to the world forever.
yeah, probably. Or choose Willow as their number one instead.
Hey, let me ask you this. When I first saw that, I had a VHS copy of that. Okay, back when it first came out. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wore the tape out, and when they re-released that, especially when you watched it on TV, they edited the shit out of that.
On TV, yes.
Yes, but I also got when they re-released it on DVD for the first time, it was the same thing, and I had to get the special director's cut to be able to watch the one I remember.
Oh, okay. Well, see, there's your difference. I didn't know, and I just bought the special director's cut.
Okay, well,
So I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know any
if you go
difference.
and you watch the first DVD release, like it doesn't have the one where he has to answer the riddle for the sprites. It doesn't have the extended scene with Meg, the Swamp Witch.
Really?
Yeah, it's very short, and all of a sudden he just cuts off her head, just like the TV edited version. And I was like, what the hell? Why did they do that? It was
Yeah, that
very
is
strange. I don't know if maybe I had the director's cut on VHS as a kid and didn't know it. But so much better version, much better.
Yeah.
They have. If that is in fact, because it's an edited version, it's got a lot more footage that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Don't ever watch that movie on TV because it's crap.
It is. Very much so.
It will anger you.
Specifically if you've seen the right version.
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't even. No. All right.
Great pick. Great pick.
Thank you. Number one, though. You may not like it. And you may not think it's a fantasy movie, but it has fantasy stuff in it.
Okay.
Okay? Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah. Whatever.
Just because you don't like love stories does not mean that Princess Bride isn't one of the greatest fantasy movies of all time.
I'm just glad that you were going to pick Willow as your number one until I took it from you.
You did,
So,
yeah, you did. I was going to put
will
Princess
give
Bride
you-
as an honorary, but you made me put it number one.
Why would it be bumped up to number one? You should have bumped up Legend to number one and put it at number 5.
No, I mean, just because I like Legend, I watch it all the time, but if push came to shove, it would be Princess Bride over Legend. Just because of how funny and fun Princess Bride is.
I need to go back and watch that, like I said, because I just didn't. It didn't get me the first time. Maybe it's something I need to go back and watch because I know everyone loves. This is not a popular film. I know that everyone loves the movie.
Yeah, because it's fantastic. You're just weird. You focused.
I do not disagree.
You focused too much on the love story instead of everything else.
I really did. That's not what I said when we talked.
No, but I know you, Zach. I know you, Zach. I do. I do.
I understand that. I'm not putting it past me, but I don't think that was it. I don't mind a love story. I think a love story should be in a fantasy movie. That's nice, but it just didn't have enough in it.
You need to
I don't
rewatch
think
it.
it had any magic in it, did it?
No, that's what I'm saying. It didn't have any magic, but there's lots of sword fights. There's a princess. There's a castle. There's
giant.
There's a giant. There's ROUSs. Rodents of unusual size. So there's your mythological creatures right there.
Right.
You know?
I'll give it to you. It wouldn't be on my list at all. It's not even honorary mention.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's good because at least I bring something different to the table.
Yeah. I would like to give it an honorary mention. I mentioned Harry Potter. That is definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
Obviously.
Up there. Also, one that I thought about putting on was The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Oh. Oh.
Love that movie.
Such an unseen masterpiece.
Yes. And you know what? Brett, you say unseen. I did not see that movie for the first time until like my early 20s.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of it.
I saw it on TV when I was 13.
Yeah. I think that's how I saw like the last few minutes on TV, and I was like, what is this? This is awesome.
This is so crazy. Eric Idle's in this. That's immediately, like, oh my God.
Exactly.
And yeah. Oh. Good, man. Like, see, that should have been on your list too.
Didn't make my top 5, but it would definitely be up there.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely good honorary mention. Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Man. That's a movie I need to buy. I've been needing to buy that one for a long time.
Absolutely.
Every time I think about it, like, it pops up and I'm like, God damn, I need to buy that movie.
Right.
And then it just like leaves on my mind again and I don't think about it. And then it comes back. It's like, God, I need to buy that movie. So weird. It's like an awesome male version of Alice in Wonderland in a way.
Kind of. Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Because everything's sort of like weird and like cool, but like more like masculine in nature, Like they're almost superheroes.
Yeah. No, they are. Yeah.
So, yeah, good choice. Ugh. Good choice. But there you go, guys. Those are our picks for top fantasy movies. Hopefully you liked some of them. Hopefully some of them opened your eyes. And hopefully you'll get out and watch some of them. I know now that I need to go actually buy a couple of movies myself and maybe, watch some old ones. What about you, Zach? You should definitely watch Princess Bride.
Not Princess Bride. Even though I do own it, I've got to watch it again someday. But I would like to see that Flying Dragons one you're talking about.
I've got the Blu-ray right here.
Yeah.
We just got to find time to actually get together.
I would like that.
Yeah. I know. Take pictures and go frolicking together. I can hold your hand finally.
Yay!
Yay! All right, Zach. Do you have
romance continues.
I know. Always. Next week. Same bat time. Same bat channel.
Tune in.
Do you have anything you'd like to say at the end, Zach?
Yes, as always, support your art, because without art, the world would even be suckier than it is.
Always. And listen to the man. He's as beautiful as he is wise. And remember, always be kind to each other, and we'll see you in the next video.